All right, we are back, and I always say this is one of my favorite questions because you mentioned your grandmother, and maybe hopefully you'll talk about her here. But my when I was a little kid, my grandfather was from Kiev, my grandmother, etc., and that's another story based on what's happening. But he's
Mhm.
taking for walks in the park in Montreal when I was 5 or 6, and I one time I asked him, I called him Zeta. I said, Zeta, how do you know all these people you're talking to? He said, I didn't know anybody. I just I smiled at one and they smiled back at me. And then another one. And then they started talking to me. So I talked to them and they became my friends. And it was so basic, even for a 5 year old, that I got, hey, there's something here, you know?
Right.
So can you share with us two or three people that have been influencers in your life?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a specific, which is my grandmother. Sadly, she died when I was 9, but I'll never forget her. And I just saw her work ethic as a independent professional woman. And I even back then, because I was this was 19 for me. It was 1978 or something like that. Was when she died. But she ran the real estate company that my father eventually pushed further and grew it into what it is today. And she was just a tough cookie. She was a hardworking German immigrant, and her husband was too. And he ran a lumber yard, and just they just knew how to grind. And she always sort of looked after me, but with a bit of discipline, but a lot of love. And so I've got her framed, in a newspaper article that I've had ever since, and just an inspiration. And so that kind of carries on to the next bucket, if you will, of somebody that's inspired me is my daughters. So, they are the reason why I get up in the morning, and it's they're beautiful people, and I want them to enter this world as young professional women that have every bit of opportunity that anybody else does. And that theme runs true for any race, nationality, gender, whatever. But for my daughters, they're my daughters, and so I really do hold them at very high esteem, and I've always got their backs. And
That's
then the third the third sort of
the last
bucket.
question I guess I'd ask you on that is if you could meet anybody dead or alive, that who would it be?
Oh boy, that's put me on the spot.
I know.
Shit. Excuse my language. Um, I'd like to be Ted Turner.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's
He takes
he's deep into land conservation, and I don't know much about his professional life other than all the cable and whatnot he's turned his empire into. But what he's dedicated now on is land conservation with nature first, and basically preserving all this great land that we have across the country.
it's a great choice. And considering no one thought anybody would watch news 24 hours a day, they thought he was crazy. I mean, look out.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for sharing that. Really,
Sure.
really good influencers. Good. It makes us think a little bit. So thanks for doing that. And
Yeah.
we appreciate you being here.
Mark, thanks for the time. I appreciate it too.